Hello, and let's do another video of Bella Donna's second grandmother patch book. This patch is called Sequential Destinations. As always, if this video is helpful, please like, comment, subscribe, all the things. So we're going to get into the patch here and explain some of the reasoning behind it, and hopefully this will give you some ideas for your own patches. So as always, first thing we do is match knobs and switches. So we're going to have the rate about 11. We're in sequencer mode because that's what the patch is called, Sequential Destinations. You can do it with an arpeggiator. You can do it just playing it too. Just makes it easier for me to have the sequencer on. 1 octave, so it's just going to sort of follow what I've set up. Slow rate, no pitch modulation. Thank God. I'm just not into laser beams. Cutoff amount is pretty high. Pulse width is, pretty high too. It's about 1 o'clock. This is about 2 or 3 o'clock, something like that. More like 2:30. Waveform is a square. No, it's not. It's a sine, because we're using this as FM, or down the road here. We're at 16 on both oscillators. Sync button is on. We're about 2 o'clock or so here. Let's see, waveform is a pulse on oscillator 1 and a square on oscillator 2. Both oscillators are turned all the way up with noise down. High pass is down, but it doesn't matter because we're not using it. Attenuator is going to be about 11 o'clock, and filter about 1 o'clock. Envelope all the way up. Resonance at about 11 o'clock, so less laser beams on the filter. Fast attack, relatively fast decay, about 1 o'clock on the release, and about 2 here on the sustain, and reverb is down close to 7 o'clock. So that's our basic patch. Okay, so let's plug some stuff in. First of all, we're taking the sample and hold out to the cutoff in. That is a holdover from the last patch we did. So what this does is it randomly is going to move the cutoff. And we're at a slow rate here, but if we make it a little faster, you'll hear it more. So you hear the sample and hold kind of randomly opening and closing the filter. Next is we're going to take the wave out, go to the attenuator. Did I get it plugged in? Yes. And then we go out of the attenuator into pitch in for oscillator 2. So this is FM, really slow FM. If we just hear oscillator 2, I'm going to turn sync off so you can hear what's happening. Okay, so why do we assign this to the attenuator? Reason is it's really intense without the attenuator. Like sub. Okay, so what the attenuator does is gives us some control over how much that's going to move. Okay, now with sync on, what's happening? We're moving harmonics. So for all intents and purposes, this gives it kind of a phaser effect. So you hear the harmonics moving, in hard sync mode, we're just sort of changing the waveforms relative to each other, and this is resetting the harmonics. So that's really what's going on. The end result is you just have like a phasing effect. Okay, so let me know if you want me to do a video about the sequencer. I'm just going to show you the basics, but the sequencer is pretty deep. So we're going to move our switch to record mode, and now it's recording, so we can just play some notes. I'm not going to deal with rests or ties or accents right now. If you want me to do a video about that, leave a comment. So let's just give some notes. Okay, so there we got that. And put it on hold. Okay. Okay, so you hear that's the patch. So what's happening here? We're getting random voltage assigned to the filter here and there, which creates unpredictability. We have slow frequency modulation of the second oscillator, which is set to hard sync, so that creates this phasing effect. And that's really it. Then we've got our mod wheel. So the mod wheel is going to control how much pulse width is happening over time and the cutoff amount. I think the cutoff amount's a little high for my taste because if you peg the mod wheel, you lose all the audio. And there's the pulse width. Okay, so so you hear with the combination of pulse width and cutoff amount, what can happen is your audio can completely disappear because either the first oscillator goes to like almost zero in terms of the length of the waveform, or the cutoff goes too low. So those two things combined can make your audio disappear. But still a really cool patch, really unpredictable because of this sample and hold thing that's happening. So changes you could make to this patch. So let's think about that. We could change the cutoff amount. It's a little, if we want to make sure the audio always stays up, or you could just, control it with the mod wheel. And there's some really cool unpredictability happening here with the phasing effect, with the hard sync. Another thing you could do is you could take the gate out to the rate in. So what that does is it syncs the oscillator. So in practical terms, what that means is the sample and hold is going to change with every note. Is it rate in or sync in? I always forget. Yeah, definitely rate in. And you'll notice this happens with the grandmother sometimes. I don't know, it gets a little confused about gates and stuff. The only way to solve this is to turn it off and back on when it's doing this weird stuff. But just something to know. It should work. But for whatever reason it's not. I probably need a firmware update too. So anyway, gate out to rate in will sync the sample and hold, which is something that I do a lot of. So I hope you learned something, and I hope you try this out and have some fun with it. Thanks a lot.